Lose in the end.
Who would
In
lose?
fact, who is losing right now?
Losing what? It rather enriches the discourse, because in the midst of the talking, who knows, somebody may raise a very vital idea or suggestion that could also even assist or help in the negotiation that we are in. But let me just correct some misinformation put out there. He said everything that you purchase, you pay National Health Insurance levy. That is not correct. He should go and check. Not everything.
Okay,
so
let's move on. Let's move on and go to the Ashanti region. Because the police in the Ashanti region have seized 82 grams of substances suspected to be cocaine in what is believed to be the biggest drug haul in the region in recent times. They arrested a 54-year-old Kofi Asamoah in his house at Atonso, where the substance was retrieved upon extensive search. His 19-year-old nephew, Richmond Ejeya Moako, a level 100 student of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, was also arrested in connection with the case. Police sources described the cocaine seizure as the biggest in a single swoop outside the country's ports. I'm ending with this. Kofi Asamoah, who is alleged to be on police radar for some time now, has been described by persons who know him as a successful businessman who owns a chain of businesses, including a hotel. Do we know this man? Do you know him?
I don't know him. I just read about him this morning when I entered your studio and I was handed over the paper. But I decided to look at it in the context of the effect of drugs trade in our country and globally. And I think that he was arrested in Kumasi, a resident of Kumasi. And the residents described him as a successful businessman. Is that the description given to him? Oh, God have mercy. You see, society has created a certain belief that unless you are, in quotes, rich, before they will dignify and respect you. You go into our churches, you go into our mosques. You have those who are in the best of clothes being considered to sit. They have even a particular place where they place them.
Not in my church.
Well, there are some churches who do not recognize that. But let's be truthful to ourselves, that today, should I come to your church and make a donation? It doesn't matter where I'm coming from.
Nobody would even see the donation. You put it in a piece of envelope and drop it in the bowl like everybody else would do.
As a politician, when I come, and probably as a guest, and decides that I have 5,000 to give to the church, certainly it will be announced publicly.
No, we won't do that.
You sure?
Maybe my church is different.
Which
I go
church
to ICGC Christ Temple. We won't do that.
Are you sure?
I know that for sure.
Should I take your words?
Yes. You can come visit. Why don't you come and visit on Sunday and make
Mensa Otabas Church?
Exactly. Come on Sunday and make a donation. Let's see if anybody will hear about it.
But it's important for us to recognize that there is no shortcut to success. It takes hard work and the fear of God. You see, this thing, cocaine, has the potential of destroying even a nation. It can destroy a nation. I was recently just watching this North American Colombia, a movie about a drug lord who has a military on his own, control and instruct. The moment he disagrees with you and you are the target, you must go. You will be killed, regardless of what expertise that you have. And it can destabilize a nation. So when we have people parading on the street of Kumasi or Accra claiming to be affluent, we should be careful.
Should we suspect every so-called rich man?
Not suspicion as such, but we must at least be cautious, because why? We live in society and we live together. Those that I grew up with know my history. If all of a sudden, in terms of assessment, they realize that my fortune has just increased, and in fact, there are people who will not engage in drug dealing, they will not engage in criminality, but yet God can bless them with success. That is there, and you cannot run away from it. But with the kind of situation we find ourselves in today, it's important that we should be cautious. And I would not go against people who have resources, who are businessmen, etc. But it's important that we should go behind what they do and find out. And the state has that responsibility, because if we don't take care, to quote the moderator of the Presbyterian Church, the chairman of the, if we don't take care, we would be laughing at the wrong side of our mouth as a result of drug trade in our country. And that is why this government remains steadfast and saying that no, we will not tolerate that. We will not accept it to happen as it happens in the past, where people are broadly standing behind and telling themselves
that. There you go again.
Oh, is it not true?
There you go again. But thank you.
Alaji, you made a wonderful submission, and like always, expecting, you ended on a very wrong note. A very wrong note. I thought that I was going to make a submission that would say, let's not politicize the drug menace, because if we do, the traders would hide behind political parties, and they can find all means to influence society. Look, drugs is one of the most dangerous issue any country can confront with. In fact, the American society, the United States itself, uses so much resources to try to stop the drug trade, and yet they are the highest consumers of cocaine in the whole world. It is not an easy thing to do. And so when we begin to now start doing comparative analysis, the fact that the guy had been arrested today does not mean that it was this government that even arrested him. It's good that the security agencies will be left to do their professional work, and let not add political colors to it, or even where the person comes from. Truth be told, cocaine is not manufactured in Ghana. The plant is not in Ghana. It came through our ports or our entry points. Who manages the points? Government. Is it the dereliction of duty? Has government failed to arrest the dealers before they enter the country? So you are in charge of something. I thought you were going to say that, look, it's about time Ghanaians look at the criminal and address them as such, and take away every political coloration, because it does not help in the fight against drugs. Because as soon as you paint it political color, then politicians will now try and find a way of even leaving the substance and going after the fall. The man has been arrested. Let's kudos to the police. I'm sure that a lot of people are on the radar of national security and the police. Let's encourage them to do their work as professionally as possible, and give them a thumbs up when they do right.
Okay. All right.
In
our time,
yes,
in the past. You said in the past.
In the past.
But he didn't go there. I didn't allow him to do it.
But in the past, it is not only MPP. Is it the issue of who the cap fit? Generally, government was in the past.
Why don't you,
President
in the past is
government was
2014, in the past is 2013,
in the past.
in the past
So
is 2012.
So Jerry Rawlings' government...
Is it the issue of who the cap fits?
Jerry Rawlings
in the past.
Jerry Rawlings' government encouraged...
In the past, why are you concerned?
Jerry Rawlings' government...
Why do you scratch your head?
Jerry Rawlings' government...
I sit here as a member of NDC, and I say in the past, we've been in government in the past, hasn't we?
Jerry Rawlings' government encouraged drug trade. Is that what you want to say?
No.
I'm surprised.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm just
Don't say that, because that's not what he said. I'm just saying that in the past could be 2014 is in the past.
So it shouldn't be disturbed.
I'm drawing an inference. So in the past, Jerry Rawlings' government, no government, and truth be told,
but you're asking us to take politics out of it. No, so I don't even expect you to make an example like that.
No government to encourage drug trade. We brought at the entry points. We made sure that drugs will not get into the country or out of the country. When President Mills took over, He himself subjected himself to search. He showed leadership. But what about the people who were part of his entourage? They went through, or was it just for the cameras?
Okay.
No government.
Now you're confusing me.
No government. No. I just want him to know that the fact that probably a certain regime or this regime had been able to accost and arrested some drug dealer presupposes that governments or any other regime would encourage.
Points well made.
Even in Colombia, where they know where the coke plants farms are, they still have problems with it. Why haven't they been able to put them off?
Okay.
So let's have a united front in the fight against drugs.
I think we'll move on to another matter.
Okay.
I think we should be congratulating the Ashanti police for a good job done.
You didn't do that.
There should be more of such things across the country, really, everywhere in our country.
You didn't do that.
We commend the commander. He's doing the human
not
job.
The commander alone.
And that's why, and the entire police force in Kumasi. In fact, I listened to a newspaper saying that the Ashanti, the region, is actually against the the removal of Kofi Boakye. But Kofi Boakye, as we speak now, his promotion is due, and the police command has to actually promote him, and he cannot get the promotion and sit there as a commander in Ashanti region. And so now the Kumasi residents are in disagreement. Forsake your promotion and stay with us, or take your promotion, and if you take the promotion and it is not under their regulations, with the position that he's supposed to be promoted to, he cannot be a regional commander. So that is the dichotomy and the difficulty the police service has to deal with. Amazing. It means that if you do good in your office where you work, outside will see the goodness that you have done to them and commend you.
Amen. Okay. This is more good news, if you like, because tomato farmers in the country will now have ready markets for their produce, as this is a bit difficult. Conservaria Africana Ghana Limited, importers of GINO and Pomo tomato paste, they've set up a 50 million cedis factory to add value to the product. This is what we've been waiting for. The state-of-the-art factory with the capacity to produce 25,000 metric tons of tomato paste annually hopes to generate 300 direct employment. Okay, I'll let you have your say, but please, no politics, strictly.
It's unfair to invite politicians and say no politics.
No, but this is business.
This is business.
I don't want you to, and in the NDC administration and in the NPP era, let's talk about the potential of this factory.
My brother had made me aware that NPP is the basis, is the benchmark to do politics.
So strictly, let's talk about the potential of this factory.
I am very happy about this. My only concern is that in Tema, I would have thought that we would site this factory closer to where they produce is. But I'm sure they've done their research, they've made their business plans, and they think that that is the best place to do. Especially, you're thinking of raw materials and you want to export as well, so probably Tema might fit. But I am looking at taking it upstream to the farm gates where we can get the tomatoes. It's a brilliant project, and fine is going to give us more employment. It's a collaboration between the Ministry of Trade and Industry and what.
I'm sure this more of a PPP kind of, you know.
Let's have more of it. Let's have more of it. Where I come from.
Is it sustainable?
Where I come from, private enterprises are what drives economy. For me, I'm not too enthused about. Yes, where government comes in is important, but when it comes to business, come to manufacturing, I think we should leave it to the private sector to run. The government must provide the enabling environment, like power, provide power so that we can sustain. There's no point in putting what's the value of the facility? 350 million cedi factory. There's no point in putting a 50 million cedi factory in Tema when we cannot have constant supply of electricity. Very soon, and I pray it doesn't, workers will be laid off because the factory cannot be sustainable. They cannot buy diesel to power their generator and sell. people will bring tomato paste from other countries that have better electricity and cheaper prices. We are in a free market economy. There's no more control pricing. So people will buy as and when. We are going to get fresh tomatoes, the one that would, at least we will be aware of its life, shelf life, not expired products. And I hope that Ghanaians will patronize this. Gino had been in the system for a while, selling imported tomato paste for so many, I mean, maybe more than 10 years. But
don't talk about it too much, otherwise you'll be advertising.
Oh, but, so but that is
so
what,
yeah,
but
no,
that is what
but we mentioned a little bit of it, but you're stressing on it.
There are other, I think it's a cue for other industry, those who are only importing, not just tomatoes or edibles, but clothing and other manufacturing items. That we should, yes, as we import from these people, we should be able to study, understudy them, and then bring factories in Ghana, because it's really worrying that basic things like toothpaste in this country, when we have bamboos getting rotten in our forest.
So you're talking toothpick?
Toothpick, yeah, sorry. Okay. Toothpick, yes. And even toothpaste. We importing virtually, I'm not sure we are manufacturing enough here to feed ourselves. So we should be able to have more items manufactured in this country.
Sure, definitely.
We should add value to what we export.
Okay.
The resources are there. Singapore does not have one natural resource. Just the human resources alone is able to lift them up to this point.
It's leadership, isn't it?
It is.
Alhaji, this is good, right? But how do we sustain it? And how do we have others in other regions?
This is in line with our policy of transforming the economy and transforming lives of the people of this country. Government recognizes that without industrialization, certainly we will not go anywhere. When you look at the import parity, it's so huge that sometimes a little dislocation in the economy, it creates so much burden and problems to businessmen. You have difficulties with the depreciation of the cedi as a result of maybe high demands and then shortage of the dollar or the foreign currency. As part of the measures being taken by government, not only looking at establishment of many companies that will add value to our raw materials, we are also even looking at the banking sector, trying to introduce what we call Islamic banking. You recall, the banking law has been amended to introduce that because the Islamic banking doesn't actually emphasize on interest. So that is also an aspect. And again, the same amendment also obliged Bank of Ghana to introduce the currency, the China currency, because many of our traders sometimes go buy the dollar when they get to China.
Are we seriously considering that?
We are. When they buy dollar, they go to China and change the dollar into a different currency. So it creates so many problems.
Some have said that why don't we import so that when they go, I mean, it's more of a barter system than we buy their currency and going to spend it in their country.
We are not used to this banking thing. A few people are interested in engaging in banking transaction. A few people. So we need to encourage more of the banking transaction. It makes it easier. Okay. Because if I'm traveling to China and I know that I need this currency, I should be able to get it whilst I'm away out of the jurisdiction of Ghana. But let me make this point clear. We recognize that industry can survive only if they have a reasonable pricing when it comes to electricity. Availability of electricity indeed is a factor. And I want to say these right steps taken, as we are also taking the right steps to ensure that we get our sugar factory resuscitated in Komenda. We are looking at the meat factory in Palugu, etc. Our commitment is to ensure that we get more of our factories working.
Okay.
And Ghana certainly is working again.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Where I said you shouldn't go, you had to go, but that's fine.
No, I'm talking about what we are doing. The people of this country need to know.
Is a member of the NPP communication team, and Alhaji Halidu Haruna is with the NDC. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here.
Thank you so much.